Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Green Table Live Talk Show. It is Monday, viewers. Come on in.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Listen, it is 6:07, so we're a little bit behind time. So we got to make up some time. And so we're going to jump right in, right? Because we have another special guest with us on today. And so we're excited. And so let's just get right to it.
Okay.
So again, good afternoon, viewers. I hope that you can hear and you can see us okay. If that is the case, please put yes in the chat so we can know. And I want to make sure you all can hear us and see us okay. All right. And now that we have that, again, I am Jessica Wright and I am your co-host.
And I'm Ishonda Blue.
And we just want to welcome you again to the Green Table Live Talk Show. Again, we are your co-host and your senior care expert. So again, welcome, welcome, and welcome. So listen, we always have new viewers, right? We have new viewers. We have to go through this because every single Monday we always get viewers coming in because we are sharing resources. We are sharing information for caregivers, potential caregivers who are trying to navigate the senior care world, right? This is a whole new world. It's a whole new experience. You're changing roles with your loved ones. And so you got to know how to navigate and how to get to the resources that's going to help you take care of your loved one. And so that's what we do here on the Green Table Live talk show. Ishonda and I, being your senior care experts, we want to bring you all the do's and don'ts, the ins and outs of how to navigate senior care. And so that's what we do here on the Green Table Live talk show. So now that you know what we do, let's tell them a little bit about who we are.
Yes, just a little bit about who we are. We are the sisters. We are registered nurses. We started our company, Innovative Senior Solutions, back in 2007. So we're looking at over 17 years now. We started out doing in-home care because of our grandmother. She told us she didn't want to go to a nursing home, and we didn't want her to go. We wanted her to be able to stay home long as possible. And so we started our business with our grandmother as our first client. We have expanded our services over the years to include adult daycare, personal care homes. We do transportation for our adult day center, and we do have structured family caregiving. So that's just a little bit about us and what we do.
All right. So today's topic, we wanted to bring on our special guest, Miss Earlene Bacon, because we want to talk about Medicare versus Medicaid, right? The two benefits and how to utilize the benefits to get the services, the care that your loved one need. And so we wanted to bring the expert, Miss Earlene Bacon. Help me out.
Help you out what?
Her agency name.
We're going to bring her on and we'll let her tell you her agency name. But it may be Bacon. Well, I'm going to let her do it. However, we do know that a lot of people get Medicare and Medicaid confused. Like, what is the difference in the two? And even if those that do kind of understand Medicare is broke down into 4 different parts, A, B, C, and D. And so we have an expert here on tonight. This is what she do. This is her superpower. Just like this is our superpower, this is her superpower. Right. And we're going to let her tell you about her business. And also we're going to dive right on into the Medicare and Medicaid. Let's bring her on stage.
Hello, ladies.
Can you tell our audience about the name of your business and what you do, and then we'll jump in.
Yes. So the name of my business is Bacon Insurance Group, which is part of one of the divisions of Living in Overflow with Earlene Bacon. Okay. So as a trusted community advocate for the last 25 years serving in the insurance industry. Um, it brings me a lot of joy, and people that have worked with me know that I love serving my community. I love making sure, I love educating my community and making sure that they know and understand what options are available to them. Okay. And one of the things, as a, if you want to say teacher, is I like to break things down so that people can understand it with more clarity, because I think there are so many misconceptions about Medicare, mainly because of advertisements that don't always have the client's best interest at heart. Okay, they're just trying to get people to call in so they can just put you in whatever plan they need you to be on, so they can make a quick buck. Okay, but
Right.
I'm here to make sure that people don't get confused, don't get um, scammed into something that is really not suited for them. But then, when once they get in it, they're kind of in a mess and don't know how to get themselves out. Okay,
Right.
so let's just start with Medicaid. I'm going to start there first because Medicare is going to be a little bit more. Um, the topic will be a little bit more lengthy. So Medicaid is a state program. Okay, so that means that in order to qualify for Medicaid, you have to qualify based on your income and assets. Income and assets. Okay, those are the two things that qualify you for Medicaid. Can you have
Okay.
both Medicare and Medicaid? Yes. But so many people, when they're talking to me about Medicare, they're steadily saying Medicaid, Medicaid. And I'm having to correct them. No, Medicare. We're talking about Medicare. So that's Medicaid. And that's in a nutshell, that's what qualifies a person for Medicaid if they have the red, white, and blue card, or if they're over the age of 65. Okay. So
Really,
okay.
let's recap that right quick. So
Okay.
you said Medicaid is what qualifies them is their income, which is normally low income, and
Yes.
their assets.
Yes.
Their assets. I think that's key there. And
Yes.
then you said, but you can have Medicaid and Medicare at the
Yes.
same.
Yes, yes. So, and let me actually expound a little bit more on the asset part, because, like you said, that's important. A lot of people think it's, well, I get low income, but then they got a 401k, or they've got a nice amount of money sitting in the bank, or they have another home that they don't live in that's in their name, that possibly, a family member is renting out or just staying there. It might be something that's paid for. They hadn't thought about it. To them, it's not an asset because it's not producing any income or anything. But the state counts it as an asset. Okay. There have been situations where, and I'm going to say this because this happens too often than not, and people get kind of in a jam with this. Okay. The mother or father may get sick. For convenience, they'll move that parent into their home, leaving that parent's home empty. So instead of it going down, a brother or a family member will say, well, hey, I'll move in. The house is paid for. That member is no longer living in that home as a primary residence. Okay. It is now considered an asset. Whereas before, when they were living in it, it would not have been counted as an asset. Okay. Because they don't include your home that you
Wow.
live in. And a lot of people don't know that. Okay. And
That's good. That's good.
yeah, because sometimes I've had one lady, and my heart went out to her because she had moved her mom in, trying to do the right thing. Nobody else was stepping up. But then she was still kind of working part-time. So she would have somebody to come into the home while she had to leave out. And for the most part, was just taking care of her mom. Well, the brother ended up moving into mama's house. And then she ended up having to do a Medicaid renewal. Okay. On that renewal paperwork, it asked about, your primary residence, if you own any property, even if you have whole life insurance policies that build cash value, that's an asset, y'all.
An asset. Yeah.
That's an asset. A lot of, again, people
Say
don't.
this too. I didn't know if you was going to get into this, but one of the things we see on our end with senior care is if you get any kind of community care or nursing home, they have something they call estate recovery, which we may address that next week. This is where they will try to see, not try. This is when they seize your assets. And I can remember calling someone from the state, and I'm like, well, how often do y'all really, do y'all really do this? How often do you really seize someone's assets? And you know what they told me?
What?
100% of the time.
Yeah. I believe it, because so many people think they can tell a fib on the application and get away with it. Well, that person will be gone. Okay, well, you don't understand. Anything connected to that person, like you said, a state, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get it before you get it. And like you said, they'll put a freeze on it. You won't be able to have access to it, because they want to make sure that no lies were told on that application. Because if they paid out monies that were not, that person was not really eligible for, they want that money back. Okay, they want that money back, and they're gonna get it back. Okay, just like
100% of the time.
100% of the time. That's how often it's gonna happen. But this lady did her renewal. Her mom had been living with her, I know, for probably 5 to 7 years. Okay, and this was the first time she actually put the new address, which was her address, instead of just keeping everything like it was in the system. And then she got a phone call, and they asked, well, now, how long has she not lived in her home? And she's like, well, she's been living with me for several years. They went back.
Wow.
So when she first moved out of her house, and they counted that as an asset. So that left her, first of all, she got denied because that asset took her over the limit, the asset limit. She still qualified based on her income, but it took her over the asset limit. And then they are now recuperating or recouping all of the funds that they paid out in claims for her over that time span. So it was like tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. So I tell people, just tell the truth. Either they can say yes or no. But if you tell them everything and they approve you, at least you told them everything. You don't have to worry about this, going back and paying back and all this kind of stuff. So,
but in that particular case, that happens a lot. Like nobody knew that was an issue or was an asset. They would consider an asset. So it's really good information right here. So not just income, but also assets when it comes to qualifying for Medicaid. So people who qualify for Medicaid, I'm just going to give some examples and then we'll jump into Medicare. So it's low income individuals and families, including children, pregnant women, people with disabilities, and seniors, all can qualify or can be eligible for Medicaid.
Correct.
Okay. So now let's go into Medicare. Tell us about Medicare.
Okay, so whereas Medicaid is a state program, Medicare is a federal program. Okay, that's the biggest difference right there. So a lot of times, like I said, people get it mixed up, but you got two different entities that are running it. You got the state running Medicaid, and then you have the federal government that's running Medicare. Okay, Medicare is not free. Okay, if you have not worked enough quarter hours, you will be paying a premium for both Part A and Part B. Okay, but most people get Part A premium free because they have paid into the Medicare system while they worked. Okay. All right. So it's not free. A lot of times people are like, well, I don't pay for my Medicare. Well, that's because you paid for it while you were working. Okay. But you did pay for it. You just paid in advance. All right.
Like Sam got to be back in.
They got, yes. And it's very expensive. People don't realize how expensive Medicare is. But then if they work enough, like I said, those 40 quarter hours and now they're eligible for Medicare, they're electing to receive their Medicare benefits. Okay. And that time frame is normally 3 months before their 65th birthday. Okay. That's when they are first eligible for Medicare. 3 months before their 65th birthday. So if somebody has a birthday coming up in July, This is April. Okay, so May, June, July. So they're actually in their initial enrollment period. It's 3 months before. It's not, they don't count the month of. That's part of the initial enrollment period, but they're eligible as early as June, May, April. Okay, that's how it goes. So April the 1st is when they are first eligible for their Medicare. Their entire enrollment period consists of that 3 months before, the month of, and 3 months after they turn 65. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to talking about that because there's some things that you'll be penalized for, that if you don't enroll into it when you are first eligible, you're going to have to pay a penalty, and it's not a one-time penalty. A lot of times people think a lot of these penalties, I'll just pay that, and when I need it, I'll enroll into it. It don't work like that. Okay. The penalty lasts as long as you're on this earth. Okay. If the financial situation changes and you later qualify for extra help, you will be penalized forever. Now, it's usually not a whole lot. If you found out maybe 2-3 years down the road that you should have signed up for Part B when you were first eligible, a lot of times the reason why people won't sign up for Part B, I know somebody might watch this and say, well, why wouldn't they, get all the parts that they are entitled to? Well, Part B is never free unless you qualify to get help through the state through Medicaid that we were talking about earlier. Okay. The premium, the monthly premium for Part B goes up every year. Since I've been doing this the last 25 years, there's only ever been one decrease, and that was last year. Okay. So
hold on, Arlene. Can we, excuse me, dear, if we can go back. So Medicare is age. So it's 65 years and older. And then it says that some disabilities and certain medical conditions may qualify, but really this is age.
Mainly age. If they are on disability for at least 24 months and they worked enough, they still have to have worked at least 40 hours. See, that's why I said what I said, because I was going to mention about people under 65 being eligible, but again, they won't be able to get all the parts if they didn't work long enough before they became disabled.
Okay. Now, I heard you saying A, B, and that's where that's why. Tell us what A, B is when it comes to Medicare.
Okay. So what I've been talking about so far is Part A and Part B. So I talked about Part A not being premium free because you have to have work before the 40 hours. Okay. Then Part A is all of the inpatient hospital services. Okay. Inpatient and hospital services, because on the card it has hospital Part A and medical Part B. Part B is the outpatient part of the benefits. Okay. So that's your total care, inpatient and outpatient, right? Okay. Part B this year, the premium is $174.70 per month. Okay. So if a person does not qualify for low income assistance under Medicaid, they're going to have to pay. If they're getting $1,200 a month, they're going to have to pay that $174.70 if they have too many assets to qualify for help through the state to help them pay that $174. And I hear it all the time. A lot of people are like, well, how am I supposed to live? They don't care nothing about that. They care about that income and that asset limit. And if you fall past those limits and not within those limits, you're going to have to pay that if you want complete medical coverage.
Wow. And that's A and B. So A is hospital, B is outpatient.
That's right. A is inpatient, B is outpatient. Now, several years ago, the government came up with an alternative to original Medicare. So A and B is what's called original Medicare. That's what's been around since the inception. Hadn't changed. The benefits have not changed. They've been the same since Medicare started. But in order for them to get additional benefits, insurance companies were kind of brought into the mix. Contracts were signed where they said, okay, we will allow you guys to administer Medicare benefits. Y'all can put plans together. You can add additional benefits, but you have to fall within these guidelines, okay? At the minimum, they have to cover everything that original Medicare covers. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. They cannot cut any original Medicare benefits.
Okay.
But what most companies normally do is they will try to have the richest plan because they want to attract clients. They want to attract new members, right?
Right.
But they still cannot just pick benefits out of the air and put them in a plan. Okay. Going back to those premiums, that Part B premium, a portion of that, once you enroll into a Medicare Advantage plan, a portion of that is paid to the insurance company. So much of those dollars have to be allotted toward the care. Okay. So again, Part C or Medicare Advantage, but if you can call it a nickname, Part C would be the nickname, but the technical name is Medicare Advantage.
Okay.
So again, original Medicare A and B, Parts A and B, Medicare Advantage, Part C, and sometimes includes Part D. Okay.
So Part C is where the private insurance people offer a plan. Got
Exactly. Original Medicare A and B through the federal government. Part C and D is through private insurance companies only.
Got it. Got it.
Okay. Did you
so tell us what is D? So B, we got C. Now, what is the difference with D?
D, if you have a standalone Part D plan, that is prescription drug only. Prescription drug coverage only.
Okay.
Now, remember earlier when I said if people don't sign up for certain things, the government has mandated certain penalties. And that's one of them. If you do not sign up for Part B under original Medicare and Part D through some private insurance company, you will have to pay a penalty when you decide to join after your initial enrollment period. Okay. All right. Now, prescription drug plans always generally have a premium as well. Okay. But Medicare Advantage plans, most of them start out at $0. I cannot say free because it's not free. $0. Because remember, I told you a portion of that Part B premium goes toward that benefit. So it's not technically it's not free. So a lot of times people think they can sign up for Part C and then get rid of Part B so they don't have to pay that $174.70 anymore. No. You cannot do that. You have to have A and B. There's no backdooring, okay, to get all your benefits. You got to have A and B because C combines your A and B. When you go to a doctor and you show them a Medicare Advantage plan, which is Part C, they know you have A and B. So you don't show both cards. You only show the plan that you're currently enrolled in. Okay, make sense?
Makes sense. Okay. Let me interject here too about long-term care. So for long-term care, if you have Medicaid, that covers nursing home care, home health care, personal care services. Those are some of the things Medicaid covers. Now, Medicare in long-term care covers skilled short-term, skilled nursing facility care, and home health services following a hospital stay. But it does not cover ongoing long-term care. These are for short-term. It's like a short-term benefit after a hospital stay.
That is correct.
And skilled nursing.
That's correct.
So I just want to interject that to those that related to senior care, what the difference there, what you're looking at. So can you talk to them now about some of those benefits? If I think they have to have Medicaid and Medicare.
Not
some
always.
of those. Not always.
Right.
Just about that.
Okay. So let me just say, because you mentioned something about long-term care and home health care. So this year was like the first year that there are plans on the market that will actually pay for personal home care. A lot of people don't know that. But you do have to meet certain criteria in order to be eligible for those plans. And those plans, you do have to have Medicare and a certain level of Medicaid. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. Now, when it comes to those extra benefits, remember I said a plan wants to attract members, right? So generally what they do is they say, well, we'll give dental allowances, we'll cover dental, we'll cover vision, give a vision allowance, we'll pay for, maybe do a rebate of the Part B premium. Instead of you having to pay that whole 174, we may give you $100, $60. You understand what I'm saying? So they have multiple plans. Like one company can have about 30 plans. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, a lot of times people don't realize that. But you have to have a good agent. I'm just going to tell you, okay? Because not all agents are going to study these plans to see what's available in your county to make sure that you do have the plan that has the richest benefits for your needs. Because everybody needs are different. You know what I'm saying? You might have people who, just like earlier today, I was talking with a lady. She has Medicare and partial Medicaid, because you can have partial and you can have full. Again, it's based on the income and assets, right? Didn't we say that? Mm-hmm. So she had partial. She needed more help in home. And so I shared with her about the plan that offers those so many hours through that plan of personal in-home care. Okay. So she met the criteria. I did the enrollment. And so starting May the 1st, she will have those extra benefits. Okay. So in addition to that, though, again, you have, how can I put it? There are plans for personal care products. There are plans for over the counter products. There are plans that include grocery, and you can utilize the benefit for like gas and transportation needs and things of that nature. So it all depends on county, because not all plans are available in every county.
Okay? So what I'm hearing you say is that people really need to make sure they get a really good agent who is informed and about all the possible plans, because you said everybody's needs are different. Like somebody may need transportation, might be an issue, exactly. Or somebody may need home care. And yeah, so yeah, that's good right there. That's important to know.
Because everybody's different. And I get a lot of times people call me because they were referred and they're like, well, such and such, my friend told me she's getting this. And I just have to stop them right there. So let me just explain to you, your friend is not telling you everything. I understand your friend drive a really nice car and live in a really nice house, but your friend got more than she's telling you, or she's getting more help than she's telling you to get those extra benefits. And you're telling me what you have, and I'm telling you right now, you're not going to qualify. Okay. So, you know, I have to be
honest with them. You got to be open and honest.
You got to really be truthful. And just like I tell people, you can apply for, you know, but you never know. They could give you a certain level, because there are multiple levels to Medicaid. So whereas, you know, they may not pay all your co-pays and your premium, but they might just pay your premium only. So apply, but just tell them everything. But some people don't want to share all that, because they're going to get very detailed. They want to know everything.
So we need your link. We need to put your information in the chat so people can get in contact with you. Also, we want to put the name of your business in the chat. But I learned something while y'all are working on that. Now, I learned something tonight. I knew Medicaid was low income. Mm-hmm. And I think I might have knew something about assets, but I didn't know about it like the way you described about the assets. That was really some good information on tonight.
Because usually they normally just talk about the dollar amount for the assets. Like you can't go over the dollar amount, but that was good when you said they may not even look at it as an asset. And so just really talking to that individual and making sure they understand what's all considered an asset.
What's considered, and it's a 5-year look back period for a state recovery. And I think you hit it on the head, because a lot of this is going on. I'm just going to move mom in. Mm-hmm. I got to take care of mom. Mm-hmm. You know, we'll worry about this house later. Let me take care of mom. Let me take care of dad. Not knowing that may be a liability, right? You think thinking that's going to be a liability. So
yes. Yes, most certainly. And even with multiple cars, y'all, you know, when you have you're only allowed to have one car. If you're married, you can have a car and he can have a car. If you're single, you can only have one car. Ain't no work car and car on Sunday. They're gonna count that second car as an asset. Anything extra, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Wow. We might need to just have a conversation about what are assets, because
I think that
yeah.
just doing a deeper dive. And that's what we want to do here on the green table, because a lot of individuals, a lot of people are navigating and don't know the ins and outs. And then when they get into something and then they figure out, oh, I got to pay this back. Oh, they're going to take this back. You know, oh, I'm not eligible for this now. You know, so really laying it out, making sure they are informed, they know what's going on and what plans, and make sure they get connected to the right people, right?
Yes.
That's key. So
did we get her information? Did we get her information?
I don't know if I put it in the right chat. It says private chat, but when I go to comments,
Whitney will put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
Make sure it's in the chat. Viewers, please, if you have any questions, if you watch this on replay, please put your questions in the chat, because I do think we're going to do a part 2 on this, do a deeper dive. And so listen, put your questions in the chat. We'll definitely be monitoring the chat. We'll tag Erlene in the comments, and so she can definitely input on the questions as well, because we want to get your questions answered here on the Green Table Live Talk Show.
I got one last question. One last thing, Erlene. I know it's something like an enrollment period every year. You want to just touch on that just a little bit about what that is and when is it?
Okay. So the annual enrollment period is every year from October the 15th through December the 7th. Every year. Okay. That's why they call it the annual enrollment period. Then starting January the 1st through March 31st, you have what's called the open enrollment period. And what that means is if you made a change during the annual enrollment period and you're not satisfied with that change, you can make one more change in the open enrollment period. Okay. So they give you almost 6 months to do things that are going to benefit you for the rest of that year. Now, there's also something called the special enrollment period. The special enrollment period, sometimes there might be something due to the weather, just like all those storms that we have. The governor will actually put out what's called weather special enrollment period, because some people might have been affected by the storm, did not have a chance, because they're focusing on trying to, get their family and their home situated, to where they didn't have time to do the things that they needed to do during the original open enrollment or annual enrollment period. And they last a long time. They last many months. So even if you're living in an area, and it's not usually just like limited counties, it'll be like the whole state or the part of the state. So it usually will cover a lot of people, and they can do that. Another special enrollment period is for people that have Medicare and Medicaid. They can make a change once a quarter, except for the last quarter of the year. Okay. Oh. So if they get into a plan, or they've been in a plan for years and they haven't had a personal agent review their benefits to make sure that they do have the richest benefits for this year, they can give me a call. I can see if they are eligible for anything better. If they got something better, I'm gonna let you know. You need to stay where you are. Don't listen to the commercials. Don't worry about people calling you on the phone. You have a good plan. But that is what's called maintaining your low income subsidy. Okay, that special enrollment period. Also for people who are retiring, okay, they get a special enrollment period. Okay, so there are many different ways. A lot of times people think that they're stuck. If they're in a plan that they don't like or something, they may think that they're stuck with that plan until that next annual enrollment period. But they can give me a call. I can do an assessment and see if there's a benefit period, an election period that they can qualify for, because many times there will.
That's good information. So you can, at a minimum, you can change annually. But if you got Medicaid and Medicare, you may can change it once a quarter.
Yes,
that's good to know too.
Except the last quarter.
except the last quarter. And if they haven't had it assessed in a long time, because I know in business, like we change insurance, like I hadn't had our insurance looked at in a long time. Like you're saying, you need to have it looked at to make sure you got the best possible plan.
Yes.
So that's good information too.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're going to bring you back in the near future. We want to talk about what these assets are so we can inform our community so they can make better choices, right? Because if they don't know, they don't know. You don't know what you know until, you know, it bites you in the butt. People, yeah, to make better decisions. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Green Table Live Talk Show. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thank you, Ms. Erling. And viewers, again, if you have any questions, put them in the chat, hit replay. Also, Ms. Erling, contact information is in the chat as well. Reach out to her for all of your Medicare needs.
And Medicaid.
Medicare and Medicaid.
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, viewers, and we will see you here next Monday, 6 p.m. here at the Green Table Live Talk Show. Until then, y'all have a great rest of the week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.